So Roswell Incident was July 4th, 1947. Rancher Mac Brazil encounters a flying saucer northwest of Roswell, New Mexico. The U.S. military initially conveyed to the press that the wreckage of a flying disc was recovered by the 509 Operations Group of the U.S. Air Force. Allegedly, 3 to 4 alien bodies were found at the crash site, possibly one still alive. Okay, what does an alien look like? So an alien might have looked like one of these. Conspiracy theorists and ufologists contend the debris and aliens were taken to Area 51, which I'll talk about in a minute. The military publicly dismissed this event, reinstating a new story, a weather balloon crash. So, who decided to say that? Here was what the news story was, because they did not want to say that they had found a flying saucer and aliens. 3 to 4 bodies, one possibly alive. So General Ramey received the bodies. No, he did not receive the bodies. The RAAF hospital received the bodies, and General Ramey of Fort Worth, he received the spaceship, and he said, we're going to re-explain what happened, or tell a new story, which was that it was a weather balloon, and so then they put this story out. So some of the interesting things about the spaceship debris and wreckage was that there was fragments of the debris were imprinted with purple hieroglyphics. Sheriff Wilcox was notified. There was 3 to 4 alien humanoid 4-foot tall beings, one alive, taken to RAAF. All witnesses were ordered to keep quiet. Major Jesse Marcel escorted the remains to the Roswell Army Airfield. So let's start at the beginning. What was happening here? Alien spacecraft's speed and maneuvering capability posed the question, were alien spaceships monitoring the atomic and rocket tests in New Mexico? White Sands Missile Test Range observed the crash. Fragments of the debris were imprinted with the purple hieroglyphics. So the spaceship was then taken to Area 51. Area 51 is the home of conspiracy theorists. Let me see. I have a diagram here. I also have, if you can see from here, I have right here a picture, and yeah, there's the article in the paper. Here's a footprint from Bigfoot, which we mentioned Bigfoot earlier. So Area 51. The home of conspiracy theorists, a highly classified USAF, United States Air Force Base, originally Homey Airport, known as Groom Lake, 83 miles northwest of Las Vegas, southern part of Nevada. Area 51 is a high security, you can't go get in there, is a high security open training range for the U.S. Air Force in southern Nevada. The site is still very secretive. What are they doing in Area 51? Known as the possible location the crash debris and wreckage materials from Roswell Incident were transported to. Now, Bob Lazar, he's famous. In 1989, Bob Lazar claimed he worked at Area 51 on flying disc simulator to train pilots, and with an extraterrestrial being. He says he was working with an extraterrestrial being. Let's show you a picture of one. An extraterrestrial being named J-Rod, a telepathic translator speaking of underground facility, S4. Lazar says hired to reverse engineer extraterrestrial technology. The Toronto Star said later, July 24th, 2020, evidence suggests UFO whistleblower Bob Lazar was telling the truth all along. If you go online or if you look on TV, you can find some of these shows that are on the Discovery Channel and History Channel, and they have interviews with Bob Lazar. I know George Knapp did the first interview, and that was when Bob Lazar said he wanted to be anonymous, so he was behind a shadow, and he spoke about it. And I remember watching a more recent interview, because we're going back to whatever, it was years and years ago that he originally was working on this. I remember he said that if he could do it again, he doesn't know if he would do the interview because he became so famous from it, and that's why this is an original event. So I also have a fact. In 2004, Dan Barsh claimed he worked on cloning alien viruses at Area 51. No evidence of that. I don't know if anyone out there has been to Area 51 in Nevada. It seems like a real fascinating place. It's 83 miles northwest of Las Vegas, southern part of Nevada. Let's see. So, Project Blue Book. This is from Project Blue Book. And I have something else that was from Project Blue Book. Where is it? This is from, these are taken from Project Blue Book. Now, what is Project Blue Book? Project Blue Book, after the crash of Roswell, there was many sightings, civilian sightings, and I'll talk about an alien encounter of abduction, Betty and Barney Hill, and there were all these sightings. So the military got involved and they started what's called Project Blue Book. So Project Blue Book were civilian reports of alien spaceship encounters and sightings. And this was formed in 1952. They studied UFOs to determine whether they were a national threat, and I think that was their concern. If this was true and there were spaceships, were they going to harm us? And they closed it out, and they terminated Project Blue Book in 1969. There was what was called the War of the Worlds in 1938, and it was done by Orson Welles, and it was a radio broadcast from the Mercury Theater, and it sounded so real that people thought that Martians were invading New Jersey, and Orson Welles was the narrator, and it sounded so real that people were really scared. And so when Roswell happened in 1947, for whatever reason, it seems like if you were to take that this was real, that the Roswell incident really happened, then maybe it was, allegedly, maybe the reason why the military chose not to, and the government chose not to share it with us, because they did not want to cause mass hysteria and fear. Let's see. So here's, by the way, my daughter loves this, Colonel Corso. He believed reverse alien technology occurred. And I'm reading his book right now, which is so fascinating. And I shared it with you last time, the day after Roswell, and he talks about reverse alien technology. And it's very, very cool because he describes what happened from Roswell and how there was one body that was one living alien, and then how they took it to the hospital. And he even said they had huge watermelon-sized skulls. Now, I'm going to talk about in a little bit. We're going to talk about alien types of aliens. And before I get to that, I just want to cover and get into something that I spoke about before, which is another original event, which is alien abduction. The most famous of cases of alien abduction, and the beginning of it all, was Betty and Barney Hill, and they claimed to be abducted by aliens during a UFO sighting. Betty was a social worker and Barney was a postal worker. And they had a delayed honeymoon, and they were traveling back from Niagara Falls, and they were traveling on this long road, and they claimed that they saw this very bright light in the sky. And at first they thought it was a reflection of something, and then they thought, is it a star? And it continued to follow them, and it was very bright light. And Barney chose to pull over, and he had a gun, and I don't know what he thought he was going to do. And supposedly, allegedly, telepathically, he heard from the spaceship. He saw a spaceship, and he ignored what they said or what he thought he heard, and he got back in the car, and they continued to travel. They lost 2 hours of time. It was late at night. It was very dark. And what happened after that was, in 1961, the couple claimed to be abducted by aliens. Now, Betty was born 1919, and she passed away in 2004. And Barney, he was born in 1923, and he passed away in 1969. They claimed to be abducted by aliens in the White Mountains of New Hampshire, returning from a postponed honeymoon in Montreal, Canada, and Niagara Falls. This was the first documented alien abduction. And they were driving home to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and they noticed a bright light following them on a long stretch of road, taking place in the middle of the night. They were both tired. Barney pulled over to identify the light, admitting to the flying saucer. Back in the car, both lost 2 hours of time. They had no memory. Arriving home, Betty was alerted that she had a torn dress, and then she had some kind of substance on her dress. She couldn't shake off the feeling they didn't have a memory. Betty had a series of dreams after that, and night after night she had these dreams about what had happened. She believed that her and Barney were both taken into a flying saucer, and they were both examined, and they both telepathically spoke to these aliens. In fact, she believed and remembered that she had wanted to take a book with her from the spaceship, and they said yes, and then the leader said no. Two years later, after this alien abduction, which happened in 1961, they decided to undergo, after being suggested to go under hypnosis. And they were separated when they went under hypnosis, and their accounts of what had happened, this incident of being abducted by aliens, was similar. The psychoanalyst, the hypnotist, person who hypnotized them, said that they were under duress, and that the reason why they had these memories was from her dreams, and they believed that this was the result of her dreams. Now, this is actually what he drew. They drew this, and they believe that this is what the spaceship looked like. Now, more recently, we know that it's being declassified, and there are actual cases the Pentagon has released and confirmed that these are UFO aerial phenomenon. So was this true? Now, from some of these incidents, we had things come out like this, a comic strip about a spaceship. And so Barney and Betty, this is something she drew. She said this was a star map, and the aliens, she asked the aliens where were they from, and they said, do you know, and they said, do you know where you are? And she said, well, not really. And then they said, well, how is it going to help if I tell you where I'm from? But anyway, this was a drawing that she had done. So this happened Lancaster on Route 3 in New Hampshire, 1961. It was September 19th, 1961. If you go online, you can find a lot of lists of alien encounters, and they're going back as far as, let's see, 1909. And let's see what we have more recently, which is the one that I was showing you. A pilot, here it is. A pilot at an altitude of 37,000 feet reported seeing a long cylinder object that almost looked like a cruise missile type of thing, moving really fast over the top of them, according to published audio. American Airlines confirmed the radio transmission came from Flight 229. A few days later, they stated a pilot reported seeing an object over New Mexico. It's coming out. This is actually the location of where Betty and Barney, on the night of September 19th, 1961, Portsmouth, New Hampshire, couple Betty and Barney experienced a close encounter with an unidentified flying object in 2 hours of lost time while traveling south on Route 3 near Lincoln. They filed an official Air Force report with Blue Book, Project Blue Book. They said they saw a brightly lit cigar-shaped craft the next day, but were not public with their story until it was leaked in the Boston Traveler in 1965. This was the first widely reported UFO abduction. Okay. If you have any questions about any of this? Oh, so this guy here, he claims he was abducted. Herbert Schirmer in 1967, Ashland, Nebraska. He said during hypnosis, he recalls being taken aboard a UFO by reptilian humanoids, which I'm going to show you what that is. Okay. Moving on, I want to talk about different types of aliens. So, how's everyone doing? Okay, so I found out that there could be up to 36 types of aliens. The key aliens that I learned about was there 9. Some of them, one of them was too crazy looking. I was not interested. So here's some different types of aliens, as you can see. And that's just a chart. I don't even, based on what this, it almost looks like Star Wars. So maybe this is, oh, that looks like a Bigfoot kind of. Okay. All right, so let me tell you about different aliens. So MUFON, let's see if I can pull up something that you would be interested in. So MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, the oldest, largest civilian UFO investigation research organization. So a ufologist is a person who studies UFOs and ufology, the study of UFOs. 34% of people believe in UFOs. On the MUFON site, they have a map that gives, if you hit the map, I wanted to say that you can find where there was different sightings. So we're going to just talk about aliens. We're going to move on we're going to move on to aliens. And this was so much news to me because I never really knew anything about aliens. So let's see. This is a gray alien. Aliens historically are telepathic. The most common aliens that we have learned about are gray aliens. And that's because of sightings. And the sighting with Barney and Betty described a gray alien. So a gray alien, the Roswell Incident, also gray alien. A gray alien, I'm trying to pull up pictures of gray aliens so you can see. So the most notable and iconic alien is a gray alien. It's an archetype. It's known from the Roswell Incident. It's a humanoid. It's supposed to be 3 to 4 feet tall. It's hairless with a large head. It has black almond eyes, nostrils without a nose. So you can see like it has just slits for mouth, no ears, 3 to 4 fingers. Predominantly an extraterrestrial being of alleged alien contact since the 1960s. 73% of alien encounters, they talk about a gray alien. Small bodies, smooth gray skin, hairless, and black eyes. I don't know if they're friendly. I think they are. I feel that if aliens wanted to hurt us, then 70 years ago, we would know. They're just watching us. So Barney and Betty's abduction, they popularized the look of this alien, which is the gray alien. Shorter than the average human. Okay. Tall, white aliens. Tall, white aliens. Tall, white aliens. Oh, here's another picture of a gray alien. Tall, white alien. That's a gray alien. Okay, so here's a tall, white alien. So a tall, white alien is humanoid in appearance. It's 8 to 10 feet tall. It's tall and slender. It has white like chalk, blue eyes that turn pink. And they look like a ghost or an angel. So if you could see that. Charles Hall, nuclear physicist, he believes that there was tall white aliens present at Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada in 1964. They were 8.2 feet tall. They like to dress as humans and visit Las Vegas. That's a tall white. So we had a gray alien. This is a gray alien. This is a tall white alien. So if you see one, you'll know what it is. You'll be like, what did Mary say? Oh, she said that was a gray alien. Like, here's a gray alien, Mary. Probably gonna have dreams with aliens tonight. Okay, now the Nordic alien. The Nordic alien. The Nordic alien. It looks like almost like an athlete, doesn't it? So a Nordic alien is from Pleiades, Scandinavian, 6 to 7 feet tall, long blonde hair, blue eyes, fair skin. George Adamski, I told you I butcher words, claims to have had contact in the 1950s and said they were telepathic, benevolent, physical beauty, and the Nordic aliens are concerned with world peace and appears in dreams and meditate. See, aliens don't want to harm us. It almost looks like one of the superheroes because it's very muscular, and then, but they all seem very emotionless. Aliens don't seem to be warm. Okay, now here's Andromedans. Andromedan. An Andromedan alien is from the Andromeda galaxy. Allegedly visited Florida in 1954. Made of plasma, they're energy beings, and they're either blue or violet. They're highly intelligent, technologically advanced, seen and depicted in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. Andromedans assert good intentions and protective of humankind to assist in spiritual growth. They sound like nice aliens. Okay, so these aliens are nice. If we want to encounter them, they seem nice, and the Nordic aliens want world peace. Okay. The famous story. Where is the rest of this? Because I had something I wanted to tell you about. What is it? What is it? It's about... I know what these aliens are. They're little green men aliens. And I'm missing something that I wanted to tell you, so you have to hold on, everybody. Where is the aliens, the little green men? Hold on. You know what? I'll get back to that. I'm going to tell you about reptilians. These are scary aliens. Oh, here's another tall white alien. Reptilians. Now, these are what people talk about. You see sometimes conspiracy theorists, or I have some individuals that I follow on social media, and they talk about reptilians. And I hear the word reptilians, and I didn't know what it meant. So they're humanoids, they're lizard people, they shapeshift. David Ack, conspiracy theorist, claims shapeshifting. Reptilian aliens control Earth by taking on human form, gaining political power to manipulate societies. In his 1999 book, The Biggest Secret, conveys belief these aliens live underground. I don't think I want to encounter one of these. I'm going to tell you all about. Now here's some just random pictures of aliens that I found. This, which is almost looks like a cartoon. This, which I don't know if this was a fake picture of an alien that I found online. Lockheed Martin senior scientist deathbed. He talked about it. I don't know if that was a hoax. Here's an alien. Oh, Syrians. So I'm going to talk about, I'm going to mention these other aliens because where are they? The story of aliens. Didn't want to leave out little green men. We've all heard stories of little green men. And they even have cartoons with little green men. So where did this come from? You know, these ideas and these characteristics of aliens come from some kind of encounter. Just like the gray aliens came from Betty and Barney and Roswell. It's the characteristics that people who've encountered aliens or had a sighting, they describe it, and then it becomes kind of a myth. And so little green men, they came from the idea from this alien encounter, and it was called, they're called Hopkinsville Goblin, Hopkinsville Kelly aliens. And so there was an encounter with extraterrestrial beings in 1955. And it was near Kelly and Hopkinsville in Christian County, Kentucky, USA. So ufologists believe that this is a significant and well-documented case in U.S. history. So August 21st, 1955, there was national coverage that 5 adults and 7 children claimed to be held in a farmhouse for 4 hours, and they were fearful of alien creatures from a spaceship attacking them. The adults, Elmer Sutton, Billy Ray Taylor, witnessed 12 to 15 dark figures peer in windows and doorways. This incident gave way to little green men. Military police from the U.S. Fort Campbell drove to the farmhouse, 5 state troopers and 3 deputy sheriff. You can Google this. There was no evidence of a hoax. That they claimed that these little green men were peering in the windows and doorways, and they were terrified and they couldn't leave their farmhouse. Was it a hoax or mistaken identity? Photo of aliens in a... Okay. And before we move on, and I'm going to be going soon, and this was lovely, I'm going to talk about quick Syrians. We're almost done describing all the different types of aliens. So these are Syrian aliens, and they are humanoids. They are non-human creatures with form and characteristics, originally planetary builders. Pyramids and temples technology exchange from Sirius Blue star system, positive and negative impact on Earth evolution. Sirius Blue is the pup, a very small star, white dwarf, orbiting the Sirius A, twice as large as the Sun. So it's guessed and estimated that Sirius 1 Sirius B was 5 times as massive as the Sun at one point. So they come from there. They come from Sirius B star system. And last but not least, look, there's way more types, and there's so many more types of aliens. However, I just picked the ones that seem to be most prominent, and I don't know, I didn't want to get into all this other draconians and conspiracy theorist type of aliens. I went with ones that kind of were related to a story. So this is Anunnaki, Sumerian, I butcher words, group of entities that were defined by various cultures in Mesopotamia. Ancient aliens, the children of Anu, had come to Earth. So are there aliens? Are there spaceships? Is there Bigfoot? Are there angels? Before I go today, and I'm so glad I got to share some information, I think that we'll move forward next week and we will touch on some of these subjects in a deeper way. I am so grateful to having David Eller as our guest, our first guest, and next week I hope to have a psychic. That's a friend of mine from Connecticut. And before I go, I just want to touch on some basic suggestions that I have about feeling better. And so one way to start off by checking yourself and discovering whether or not that you are feeling self-love is to set your boundaries. And that the way you set your boundaries is to imagine that you have a circle around you that's about this far from you, so it's about a foot from you, and that no one can come into your space unless you invite them. And to turn into and to find peace inside of yourself, you have to start with self-love and setting your boundaries. So let's set our boundaries and let's be clear that if we don't feel safe, that we don't let someone in. And that might come through in physical or verbal or emotional. So set your boundaries. How do you do that? If you verbally want to set your boundaries with someone, it would be make a suggestion like, that's hurting my feelings, or I don't feel good when you do that. Here's another suggestion. If you're having trouble manifesting your goals, in other words, if you're having trouble reaching your potential, try manifesting. How do you manifest? First, there's 3 steps. First is to write down whatever it is you want on a piece of paper. You tell no one. You keep it to yourself. And you put the piece of paper in your sock drawer. 2, what you want to do is you want to close your eyes and you want to imagine having whatever it is that you've written down. If you feel joy when you think of whatever it is that you want, whatever goal it is that you want, if you can't feel joy, then you're blocking it somehow. Don't laugh at yourself for whatever you want, because anything is possible and all our dreams can come true. So you want to visualize it. You want to imagine that you have it with all your senses. And if you can find joy, you can attain your goal. 3 is that you want to talk about it like you already have it. Like I always use the example of something materialistic because it's easier. I have a yellow sports car. So I say, my yellow sports car in my driveway. I love how it looks. I like to sit inside. It has black leather interior. And I like driving around with the top down. So if I can speak of it like I already have it, like it's mine, then the universe will bring it to me. Okay, that's 2 suggestions. I'll give you one more. If you're feeling really bad and you're not having a good time and you want to change your energy and your mood, if you're not feeling well, you need to reconfigure your brain. How do you do that? A go-to nature scene. So I'd like you to come up with your own most beautiful, glorious nature scene. You don't share it with anyone. It can be a beautiful waterfall. It can be a beach, a sandy beach and waves. Maybe it's mountains. Maybe it's a forest. Maybe it's a field of flowers. So you want to imagine. Now at first, you probably have to close your eyes to practice doing this. Close your eyes and imagine the most beautiful nature scene. And if it brings joy to you, then you've got the right scene. So you're going to, with all your senses, you're going to imagine what it smells like, what it feels like, what it looks like. Now, what are you going to do with this? When you're in a bad place, you might be in a situation at work, you might be with someone in a relationship, it might be that you're just having a really bad, crummy day. Imagine your nature scene, and it will change. You will reconfigure your energy. It will change your mood. And if you practice doing this enough, it will help bring you light. It will help make your day better. One more quick thing I want to say. If you get a chance to get outside and you're feeling lost or stressed or disconnected and you're in your head too much, you want to ground yourself. So you want to go to a big, strong, healthy tree. You want to stand on the roots of the tree in your bare feet, and you want to touch it and ask for guidance. If you do this for 15 minutes, you will change your energy and you will feel calmer. If you can't go outside, just close your eyes and imagine that your feet are deeply planted in the earth's surface, and you will ground yourself. What I do, because I have kind of like the tricks of the trade going on, and I've been doing these kinds of helpful healing tips for years. My latest is, if I'm in a situation where I feel weak or upset and not strong, and I need to be brave and strong, I close my eyes and I imagine that I'm standing in a forest of strong, healthy trees. So there's rows of trees around me encompassing the area that I'm standing in. And then I instantly feel less stress, more grounded, and happier. I'm hoping that I'm going to stream a couple of times a week, and that's my plan now that I have technology figured out, and I'm going to have guests. And like I said, I'm going to bring on, my next guest is going to be my friend who's a psychic, and she's been listed in like the top psychics in the country, and her name's Joan Cara, and she's from Connecticut, and she's done many readings, and I actually had lunch with her last week and we talked about her coming on the show. Okay, well, I just want to say before we go that I'm really grateful for everyone that's joined us today. And you can always catch this on my YouTube page. You can find me on maryamyofficial.com. I have Facebook and Instagram, Mary Amy Official. I'm kind of getting emotional. It's funny because the time's almost up. So I want to thank you for joining me, and my blessings to you. In honor of my Scottish grandmother, Lucille, I want to say, Lang may your lum reek, which means I wish you good luck and good fortune for the future. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Maybe I'll be back over the weekend. If you have any suggestions of any topics that you want to cover, or if you want to share, chat with me. I hope you have a great day. Bye.